Slowly kisses busting by the river.
Welcome to another exciting edition of $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And with garage sales, flea markets, all that kind of stuff out there, we love bringing the BOLO videos because there's a lot of things out there that we end up selling that you actually can find out there. And it's always good to have as much knowledge as you possibly can, because when you're walking by the dealer table or you're walking by the person's table at the garage sale and you see something like this there, buy it and tell them the $1 Million Peddler sent you. What do we got here? Take it away.
What we have here is something that I've had for 10 years, and I purchased a bunch of these from Paper Goy.
You made a lot of money off it. All right, a little backstory.
Yes.
Bought this at, as they call it out in San Diego, a swap meet, which is kind of funny because absolutely love going out there. And this was probably 10 years ago. There was a big pile of these, and I forgot do you have any idea what they were asking them? $3-4 a piece, $5 maybe $5 a piece,
maybe five,
something
and I
like
paid
that.
you a couple bucks over, maybe.
I think I ended up getting a little bit of a deal and ended up selling to you at that, whatever it was. But they're cool as anything.
They're cool.
All lobby cards in Spanish.
Yeah, horror, some comedy, right? Three Stooges. So there's a wide variety of stuff.
But here was the fun thing about it. I'm out in San Diego with my luggage. Now I've got to figure out how to get a stack like this onto the plane without them getting damaged, which, get no problem, but I've got to put them in between my clothing and, because obviously I don't want to ship them home.
For me, it's no problem because I bring large pieces of luggage. For Paperweight, he brings tiny, tiny duffel bags.
I do try to go without any, and actually, you know what I might have done at that sale? I might have found enough good things that I actually bought a suitcase.
I think you did. I remember
I
you telling
bought
me
a
that.
suitcase.
Yep.
So there is an insider tip for you. Because I always just use carry-ons. I bought a suitcase, filled up with stuff that I bought at the swap meet, and used that as my luggage. And that was back when you got one bag free when you were going on there. So I think I paid $40 is what it ended up costing me, and ended up bringing it home that way. So it's a great little story over there. Great swap meet if you're out in San Diego. Definitely, it's over by one of the arenas, as a matter of fact. So check it out. At least if it's still there, you get some great deals there. But go ahead, take it away.
So, if you want quick turnaround, these are very cool. If you're in it for the long haul, which, I made that decision 10 years ago. I was in it for the long haul. As you can see, it sold 10 years later, and I probably made $10 off it. But, if you're a collector, great, buy them. If you're looking to resell them, unless you get them really super cheap or sell them super cheap, I would probably hold off on these items. Very cool, though.
Very cool. The other question is, I wonder if you listed, if a pile of those came in today, and we listed them.
Oh, I would still buy them.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
I would turn them down.
If we listed them today,
I'd offer them less. Yeah.
With the way that we list items now.
Oh yeah.
Because
they'd sell
these
quicker.
probably have gone stale in the eBay listings.
Right. True.
So
yeah.
that could be part of it.
Very true. All right. Next, moving on. This was from a sports storage haul.
I'm just gonna.
Oh
yeah, we got it. Got it.
Okay, we got it. Yes, now we do have it.
Got it.
And the person that bought this got it as well. 1986 Topps football wax packs. A lot of 19
for
$1,724. The card market, I say it every week, it's booming. These packs have a possible Jerry Rice rookie and a possible PSA 10 Jerry Rice rookie.
Now those were always decent packs.
Yeah, they were
Jerry
$300,
Rice.
$400, $500 boxes. Now the boxes are $5,000, I think, or more.
But you're not talking complete junk wax. Those were never
right.
considered junk wax. But still, wow.
My word of advice: if you have any older packs that are valuable and you're going to sell them, take multiple pictures of the back. The back is key, so they weren't tampered with, and make sure they're still sealed. There's no yellowing from like a heat lamp or anything. And in the corners here too, you want to make sure they're the diagonal and they're not tampered with. So we did that, and I think that helped boost the sales up a little bit as well.
A lot of insider tips today.
Yeah. Next up, I had this for a little bit. I was firm on my price. I wanted it. Well, it wasn't so firm. I wanted $1,000. I wanted $1,000. I think I paid $300-400 for it, but I had it. I ended up taking a $700 offer. I might have been a little high.
It's Rochester Red Wings Cal Ripken sealed set. Now this goes into a video that we reference all the time, and that's know your local area.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say these are common up here by any means, but they are out there here.
Sure.
Odds of finding this in the wild, if you're living in San Diego, probably not really high.
Right.
But you might be able to find Tony Gwynn rookie cards out there, or that sort of thing. You'll be able to find
Sure.
Pacific Coast League things out there, whereas the
Yeah.
odds of us finding a Pacific Coast League thing, very, very unlikely up
Yeah.
here. So do know your local area, but this is just a great piece. It's a legitimate pre-rookie card, essentially, as minor league card.
Yeah, and with the card marking, everyone grading stuff, this is your best shot at getting a PSA 10, which is, I think, $5,000-$6,000 or more.
Well, the other nice thing about it too is it's factory sealed,
Right.
so that
Yep.
it has not been tampered with. Because again, that's one of the potential issues.
Sure, absolutely. Next up, from the Ohio Monster Magazine Hall.
Which we have a video showing these as they came in as well. Famous
absolutely.
Monsters of Filmland #2, nice early one.
Surprising to me, I thought these would be worth more money. I didn't do as much research on them. I thought this would be $1,000 magazine as an 8 because it is very, it's like 60 years old or something like that. But I took
And here's where things are a little bit misleading. Can you zoom in a little bit on the label? The 8, it's a little hard to read over there, but what grade is that? I mean, that's very fine, near
yeah,
something like that.
I think it's
that's
very fine. Yeah,
And that kind of came to me because I was on a heritage auction and they had an item that was like a 4 or 5 or a 5, maybe a 5, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh geez, that's low grade. And I looked at it and I go, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
a fine
yeah.
condition item.
Sure.
Yet the graded market has got us so skewed
yeah,
that if we saw that raw, we'd be like, wow, this is fairly high grade.
Right.
It's a fine. That's really good. It's better than run of the mill, which is
Yeah.
the VG or good of VG.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
because we're so jaded with the graded,
Yeah, well,
you sit there and you see a 5 and you
Yeah.
go, I'm not going to buy that.
but a 5 could be really good if it's the only high grade. of
Right,
it,
right.
But I think two things: Monster Mag collectors really collected their stuff and kept them in nice shape. Not that they're common, but these are out there on eBay. It's just a nice piece, but they just don't bring the money. So, but if you have a Monster magazine that's not this title, those are where the money's at. Because not many people graded them. These have been graded a lot.
Okay.
So there might be 10 of these on eBay right now, from 300 to 3,000. In a high grade.
But if you have some obscure monster
exactly.
title.
So I'm learning that my next batch is going to be obscure monster titles, not Filmland, but still very cool series. Next up, I picked up a train collection, like a year ago. And
I'm not even going to try reading all those numbers.
And-
It's a big boy AHM metal body locomotive Union Pacific.
And we lost these boxes. I had like 5 boxes I bought from a guy. He found the website and he shipped them to me, and he was retiring, and we couldn't find them for like a year. Well, we finally found them, got them listed, and some went for crazy money, 100, 200, 300, 400 bucks. This was a nice 2-piece set. Went for, I think, the $255. It went for the whole price there. So very cool.
Now, you do know a fair amount about trains, too. It's yet another thing that you know about your father. For
Yeah.
those that don't know, his father had a train store back in the day. So you're not up to date on all the latest goings on, but you've got enough
Right.
back knowledge on
Sure.
it that if somebody brings something in, you at least have an idea about it, whereas I don't know it all.
Yeah,
so
I've dealt
this helps
enough
me.
over the years too. The one thing I don't like to do when I'm buying older vintage trains that aren't in boxes and they've been used, I don't test them. I have no way to test them, so unfortunately I leave money on the table, sell them as is. If I had them set up, but I don't buy a lot of them anyways.
Right.
Or if I did,
Well, that would take a lot of room.
yeah, I would
too,
certainly,
for-
I certainly would be testing them at that point. Next up, we're gonna get to my niche there, magazines. Female smoking on the cover.
New York Magazine.
Whoever Donald Graham is, but it sold for $44. I got a bunch of these up from a collection, and they always sell for up there.
And that has a mailing label as well, so that just shows that it's a good issue there with the mailing label, and it still brought $44.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, there's nothing, no keyword there that jumps out and grabs me
Right.
per se. So there is a reason that somebody bought it. Either there's something in the episode or the issue that they knew about,
Right.
or maybe they collect women smoking on the cover. You never know what it
That's
could
true.
be. It could be anything.
Donald Graham was part of a Washington Post. I think it says up top there, but it could be. You never know.
Never know what it could be, but
Still sold regardless.
So that I guess that tells you that's a good title no matter what. So if you're
Yeah.
out there to sale and you see the New York magazines, definitely do pick them up. One quick thing, which is I'm sure everybody knows, but just I didn't know when I first started. New York and New Yorker are 2 different magazines,
yes, yes,
but they're so similar. Both of them do sell though.
yeah.
So.
I think we put up the table of contents there. It looks like, yep.
Yep. So that definitely helps too. Somebody may have
Sure.
said, "Hey, it might be in one." I know because that'll end up happening a lot of times. People will be interested in something and they'll know it was in.
Yeah.
Especially this was a weekly magazine. It was in one of the weekly magazines. Is it this one? Well, now they
Right.
can check the table of
Yeah.
contents and, hey, this is the one that has what I want.
Yeah, and thanks to Paperboy, I started doing that maybe 6 months ago, and it's definitely helped sales. So, very good. Last up, what is? Oh,
You gotta
there
go
we
down,
go.
yeah.
All right, all right. Good customer of mine sold me his near complete set of goal line art postcards, all signed with certificates. Very cool. A lot of them are deceased football players. They're all Hall of Famers. This is a Jim Brown. He was one of the more expensive ones, $200. But I have like 100 different ones, so they're anywhere from 25 to 250.
Nice. So
very
anything like
cool.
that, and those are all. I mean, obviously they're legit, but they're
Yeah.
certificate,
Yeah.
or is it by? Yep.
No, some have 2 certificates. So you got a GSA, and you got the guy he bought it from on eBay who did this original signing with him. So very cool.
Nice.
They made 5,000 postcards, but only so many were hand signed. It shows and so forth. But very cool
Nice.
if you're into football.
Do you want to go into what makes our channel very, very interesting?
No, that we are different.
We are different.
We have different prices.
Well,
on-
one area we don't. One area we're not different.
Okay.
We both screw up.
All right.
Why don't you tell the quick story about how you screwed up on the goal line signed postcards?
Oh, so why do we gotta
Because
expose my imperfections?
because this will teach people to be very careful, and you learned a lesson.
I did learn a
and
lesson.
The most important thing is you lost money,
Yeah.
but you stood behind the sale.
Yes,
And that's
yes.
very important.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to all of us.
Right.
You're going to misjudge shipping. You have something or other that you set the ship out, and you suddenly realize you misweighted, or it turns
Yeah.
out to be oversized, or whatever. You have to stand by your deal,
Yes.
for good or for bad.
Yep.
Even though sometimes you lose money, as we did the one video, it's a cost of doing business. It is,
Yep.
but you have to. Your reputation is what's most important.
Sure.
Why don't you tell this wonderful tale?
So, words of advice is to get a good night's sleep. I am too stubborn to do this. If you're listing in bulk, or I relist in bulk, I'll get a good night's sleep. I sleep about 4 hours, 5 if I'm lucky. I get up at 2, 3 o'clock, and I don't have a choice. There's orders to be printed and things to do. So,
Well, for what it's worth, I sleep 5 hours a day, and then another 9 at night.
yeah, exactly. So, if I'm up at 2 or 3, by 3 in the afternoon, I'm pretty tired. I doze off at my desk a little bit. I'm going to admit that. But that's usually my relisting time. So any items that ended the previous day, and there's hundreds of them, we relist them from auction into the eBay store. And generally, I have my system where I add $5 roughly to it because I'm going to take an offer. Then I have to add them to every item except click offer and so forth. It doesn't take very long, but I can do 100 on a page.
Right. Now, for those of you that don't do this regularly, if you go in there to relist in the store, you can increase or decrease your price by a certain amount.
Right.
So he tends to increase the price by $5, and every item that's on the page will get increased by $5.
Right. No, oddly enough, when I was taught this, I knew right what to click. Increase. There's an increase tab. So for 10 years, I just clicked it, never had this issue that I'm aware of. Well, I never saw, I don't know why, maybe I can call myself stupid or ignorant or whatever the case is. The tab below that is to set that price at that amount. So I'm dozing off. I got my mouse, and I go to click the, increase $5.55. Instead, I clicked sell at this price, not knowing this. So I submitted the 100 items,
All or
the whole page, 100.
right,
of them,
which
yeah.
were all goal line signed postcards.
Yeah, there was some magazines, some a little mix
Okay.
from all my employees, So I go home, I eat dinner. So like 7, 8 o'clock, I'm like, well, let me just invoice everyone that won multiple items. So I go on there because the goal line arts had just ended anyway. So I know people were buying multiples to fill in their collection. So I'm looking at this guy who bought 6 of them for $5.55. I'm like, what the heck did my employee do? So then I immediately click on it.
Now, I will give you the same advice I always give you. Fire whoever screwed that up.
Yes, I'm firing myself. That's it. So then I look at it, and it was a relist for $5.55, and my employee could not have done that because he only lists them in auction. And I'm thinking, how did I do this? So I don't know how I did it. I don't want to know. So I start ending a couple. Then I'm thinking, there's 100 of these to end. It's going to take me a while. In the meantime,
And you have to relist them all.
and
after
there
the
was
fact
like
anyway.
there was 10 more of these goal line arts that are normally $30-$40. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I call up 2 of my employees, my niece and her fiance, and I said, please, whatever you're doing, I will pay you right now to fix
care
this
of this,
problem. So they ended up, and I will just end everything right now. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Just end them so no one can buy any more. And weirdly, the guy that bought the 6 could have bought 10 or 20 more, and maybe he didn't need them in his collection and didn't care. I don't know, but
Which
that's
actually,
that's a bargain.
But that actually does make me feel a little bit better in that, and not nothing to do with the money that you could have lost, didn't lose, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But that these are going to a collector.
Right.
Because if he was a speculator,
Yeah.
he would have bought
'em
every
all.
one of them you
Absolutely.
had,
Yep,
and
for sure.
made a
Yeah.
killing on them.
And who wouldn't really? It's easy money.
So the 6 that he bought, he actually needed. So he
Right.
got a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
Good for him. Not so good for you, but good for
Yeah,
him.
right.
It happens. Again,
Yeah.
as we said, it's the cost of doing business. So
Yeah.
just wanted to share that with you. Again, that's one thing that does make our channel different from a lot of people. We screw up.
Yeah, he
Actually,
reminds me that too. He reminds me when I do. Yeah.
You're
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank you.
Actually, every channel out there screws up. We're one of the few that will come out and admit it. Blemishes and all, this is what happened. Don't make this mistake. So hopefully that does help you a little bit. On to my things. The first item I have over here is kind of interesting because I picked it up in a lot of things, and I literally pulled it out and I called random neighborhood kid over and I said, look at this is going to sell. And he said, why is this going to sell? And I said, it will sell. It sold within, it was the first thing that sold out of that lot that I picked up, and it sold within 3 days. The Flame Steakhouse Menu LaGrange, Illinois,
Sure.
1960s. And he had asked why it sold. I don't know why it sold. It did sell to somebody in Illinois. Could have been somebody that worked there. Could have been friends with the owner. Could have been somebody that ate there. They could have had their anniversary dinner there. Who knows why? I took a $15 offer on it. More than happy with that. Got rid of it within 3 days. And random neighborhood kid learned a little something or other about it that once in a while I know what I'm talking about. Not always.
No.
But menus are obviously hot.
Wow, that's cool. Nice.
This I had listed at 32. I ended up taking a $15 offer on it. It had been listed for, well, it's on sale at the 32. I ended up taking a $15 offer on it to somebody that buys from me regularly. So I ended up taking a little less because he buys all the time from me. The other problem is it's got a price tag on it of $2.
Ah,
I paid $1 for it because it was half price sale at an estate sale. And actually, I may not have shown this in the video, but I did do a video about this estate sale. The estate sale that I had went to, the person, they were a new estate sale company, and they were asking, I believe, $15 a piece on sheet music from World War II. They were just asking bottles out in the garage that were, everybody else would have $1. They were asking $10 to $20 each on. It was just a complete waste of time to go out there. This was out there, picked up for $1, sold it for $15 or $16. But a really neat piece because it's House of P.Y. Chong, Hawaii, World War II, V Victory Menu, Chinese food, 1940s hula. It's got so many keywords on it, and it had one person that kept making me an offer of $10 on it, and I kept turning him down. I'm not going to take $10 from somebody on it. I know it's better than that. Condition's not the best. You may see this out there, though. I did a lot of research on it, and this gentleman was actually a pretty famous restaurant owner in Hawaii, and this came out during World War II. So kind of an interesting thing. The nice thing about it is I made a couple of dollars, and I did a bunch of research and learned some stuff, and I really enjoyed listing this as well. So it does sell. I did take a lower offer, but I would not take that $10 offer from somebody that I'd never dealt with before. Next thing over here is really kind of an interesting item. United Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Association Convention Program, 1949 Chicago. You may find stuff like this out there, and if you do, it's probably going to be priced cheap because nobody holds any value in this kind of thing. But it's a convention program, got nice little ads in there from all the various vendors, got, listing there of who was showing up, who was advertising, all that kind of thing. Sent this, I took a $70 offer on it. I sent this over to a friend of mine saying, hey, I sold this. And they said, wonder what the swag bag was for a convention of fruit and vegetable. I said, oh, you get a swag bag full of tomatoes to throw at the comedian you don't like. Whoa, watch that. So kind of a interesting little item. You may find these oddball things out there. Got a lot of neat advertising in there. It probably will sell. Well, obviously it will sell. Next thing we have over here is kind of just interesting item that you may find out there that nobody's going to put a lot of value on. Texide prophylactic condom ad sheet from 1930s. Be sure it's genuine. I think I took a $25 offer on it. More than happy to see it go on there because it was a throw-in on another deal. It was kind of all folded down. The only thing that I fear about listing things like this, and again, I'm fairly sure it's 1930s just by the package design and all that.
Yeah.
Not a lot about this company out there, so I did some guesswork on it as far as that goes. Just if it looked like 1930s. I'm not an expert on 1930s condoms, unfortunately. Something to do after I retire.
Yeah.
But I get a little concerned at times, and this is just because I've been doing this so long. I've got things that are marijuana themed. I've got condoms, things like that. You always wonder, did eBay put some rule in that you can't sell this kind of thing? At one time, you couldn't sell high times.
Yeah, true.
On there, all that sort of thing. So I'm always a little leery, and then I make sure there are other people with similar things listed. Believe it or not, a lot of people sell unopened condoms from back then, and they do not go for anything close to what you would think. I don't know what you would think they would go for, but they're only going for $5 to $10 a piece, which seems that they should go for more as they're rarer.
Sure.
Who knows? But believe it or not, old condoms do sell. Next thing we have over here, do you ever had that magazine?
I don't believe so.
Fashion
no.
and Travel Magazine, 1955, first issue. It's got a couple of condition issues, like a giant piece missing off the cover.
Yeah.
It did get bid on, did sell for the $84. And in fact, if you read my condition, piece missing off bottom left of the cover, some corner wear, small tears. One problem, and we have a friend of the channel that was a research librarian, and I do wish I had that skill. I do know he knows how to search, and I'm sure he knows how to search the terms, includes, does not include, all that kind of stuff. I just do a simple Google search. This is a very difficult magazine to search for on Google because fashion and travel.
Yeah.
So many different things come up. You start getting Vogue magazines, you start getting actual travel magazine, so after a while of searching, I was only able to find, I think, number 4 issue, and somebody was asking like $50 on it out there. So I said, I'm going to ask $84 on number 1. It is a rare title. Maybe I gave it away. I don't know. I'm not going to go to college to learn how to do research librarian work, although it probably would pay for itself in a little bit of time. So if you do see this magazine out there, any of these obscure fashion magazines, they definitely are worth picking up. Next thing we have over here, and this is where I've changed throughout the years. Franz von Vesey, Marvelous Boy Violinist Booklet, March 10th, 1905, Michigan. He apparently was quite a big deal around the turn of the century. He was like 12, 13 years old, playing violin, going around the country, putting on shows. Research showed me that. In the old days, I would have asked $15 on it and been happy getting that.
Yeah.
I put it up for $44. It went for $44. I did a search on it. I did Terapeak, did search. There are records, I believe, with him out there, but nothing like this out there. Was $44 a good deal? Very well, may have been a great deal for the person. I don't know. But I'm happy getting 44, whereas in the old days I would have gotten 15 out of it. And the last item we have over here, we've talked in the past about my slow pivot toward art, trying to get things from heritage and slowly moving, and did move another item. Now this, again, I used the Auction Professor crop in because here's what the item actually looks like. And then I cropped in on what I thought was the best part of it. Kind of obscure. Senator Ham Lewis basically turned down H.T. Pindell, who wanted to go and become a diplomat to, I believe it was Russia, something like that. He wanted to be a diplomat. I did a bunch of research on it because luckily Heritage did tell me what it was about, because otherwise I would have been like, what is, I think it's HTP, I think it says on his suitcase. I wouldn't have any idea whatsoever. Luckily they told us. A great little image. Anything Oscar Cesar does sell, you probably aren't going to find original art like this out there. But you never know. Take a chance on it. His stuff does sell, just to let you know. So if you do have a chance to pick up prints and that sort of thing of his, he did a lot of political cartoons and that sort of thing, you will end up being able to sell them. But shout out to Auction Professor. He did tell me to, did the videos out for everybody to do the crop, and it definitely does work, I believe, because I would think this looks better than this as far as selling the item. I mean, would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
So the crop definitely does work there. So hopefully you do find some of these things out there. Hopefully you've learned a few things out there. And do hit the like button if you could. Comment down below if you find any of this stuff out there. We'd love to hear about it. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.